Hey everyone, the name is Erik Thor, and in this video allow me to talk to you about something important. I want to talk to you today about stereotypes, and I want to talk to you about the vision I have. A vision of where we type and understand each other is not through stereotypes, but through listening and understanding people's mood, their emotions, their environment, and their cultural and social development. I want to understand type not as a limiting constraint, a set of stereotypes, a checklist of traits and behaviors that you have to have and deal with to be a certain type. I don't want us to type people anymore based on if we appear shy or outgoing, or if we appear to be talkative or silent. I want us to begin to understand personality in a deeper and more important and meaningful sense. I find that we are in a process where we are prone to stereotypology. Stereotypology rules all over the internet. Memes about people, memes about the personality types, all giving us a limiting idea of who these types are. And we are confusing ourselves in the process. We keep finding and bumping into how wrong these stereotypes are. We find a good new stereotype, and then somebody approaches us and we find out that this stereotype is wrong. Or we narrowly hold on to these stereotypes and we become obsessed about them. And when we find out somebody who said they are an INFJ suddenly doesn't like our herbal spice tea, well, then they can't be an INFJ. We are seeing INFPs out there that are talkative and outspoken, and we go, INFPs are actually shy and withdrawn. That person can't be an INFP. And we are forgetting something. We are forgetting about the versatility of being a human, the dynamic and contradicting experience of being a human being. We are forgetting that people that are constantly changing, developing, growing, and you will find that even though you feel confident about your type now, you'll find that 5 years from now, you are gonna learn, you're gonna grow, you're gonna change, and you're gonna look back at yourself and you're gonna be a little confused over how you've gone from one stereotype to another, and you kind of progressed and transpired through some of the issues that you used to have throughout your type. A person who used to see themselves as an ENTP finding out that I've gotten better at following schedules, I've gotten better at coming on time to work, I've gotten better at getting closure in work. Have I become a judging type? And when we are doing this, we are kind of limited, but I find people still do it because they have no other option. People don't know how to type each other's without stereotypes. We don't know how to look at Disney characters without stereotypes. We don't know how to understand each other's without having these shallow and simple personality traits. So we need something else. But what? What can we do instead? I've been working on a theory from neojungianac Academy which bases itself on understanding what puts you in a state of flow. And I've always been looking at kind of what does this person look like when they seem to be high on energy and motivation, and when they seem to be low on stress, calm, centered, and at peace with themselves. How does a person look when they seem to be conscious, self-aware, and active people? Versus how do they appear when they are under stress, when they are anxious, when they are worried, when their energy is low, when they're struggling at work and there's so much to do. We are constantly getting lost because we are often confusing people who are struggling with issues with health, with being certain types. We get the idea that INTPs are inherently apathic and depressive types. And because we've only seen those that may be, for example, INFJs under stress. We are looking at type very narrowly here. We are looking at people who are dark, rude, hurtful, aggressive, and poisonous. Okay, I don't want to talk that way about people, but people who are overall angry and unstable and uncertain and worried and not in a good state of mind. And we're looking at them and thinking, oh, typical ENTJs, that's such a typical ESTP way of being. And we are getting lost here because then we assume that this is something inherent and natural, a personality trait that has a positive in meaning in society. And perhaps on some scale anxiety has its positive sides, but let's be real here. Generally, when we are working with personality types, interested in positive differences between people, like meaningful differences, differences that have their uses in society, differences that have their positive implications to creating a versatile and dynamic society of different people with different abilities, different skills, intelligences, and different ways of acting and thinking. I find that we are in dire need of starting to learn to recognize healthy versus unhealthy personality behaviors. ADHD is not a personality type. Autism is not a personality type. Really, what the trigger behind these difficulties and these struggles comes from something else. And we are in dire need of learning to recognize and look at a person and see, okay, how would that person be when they were in a state of flow? How does this person look stressed right now? Does this person look anxious right now? Does this person look like they have a lot of energy? Does this person look like they find motivation in what they do? Do they seem like they find what they do important? Or do they find it to be meaningless? Because apathy is not a type. Sometimes I find people confuse thinking with apathy, thinking with not having emotion. But not having an emotion is a state of feeling that you lack meaning in what you do. And thinkers have naturally a sense of meaning in thinking. They find meaning in challenge, in achievement, in progress, in work, in following and mastering procedures, becoming better at what they do, learning new things. They are inherently motivated to learn. A thinker is not somebody who finds everything around them completely meaningless. That's more a reflection of a feeler under stress. When you don't feel meaning in what you do, stress is a natural consequence. You're forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do because other people want you to do it. Your boss wants you to do it. Your parents want you to do it. And so, to compensate for this lack of motivation, it's so easy to fall into the trap of stress. You start saying and echoing things that you think other people find meaningful, but you don't really care about it. You start pushing yourself to want something that you don't actually want. It's so easy to get into this trap and to confuse and to be uncertain about what's your real motivation versus what is something that you find stressful and tedious. It's so easy to get lost in how you are when you feel anxious, when you feel worried, when you feel doubtful of yourself. You get hypercritical of yourself. You start looking very negatively at yourself. And you start seeing yourself as less than what you are. You start only seeing the negatives of who you are instead of the positives. When really we are a mix of all of it, of course. So, my goal is very simple. I want a typology without stereotypes. I want a typology without these limiting ideas about personality types that are set. I want personality type to be a reflection of your flow code, how you enter a state of flow. I want flow to be the key to becoming whatever it is you want to be. I want a flow and higher consciousness to be the goal of what we do. Becoming more self-aware, getting becoming more influential on your environment, like being a person that actively uses your own free will, your own willpower to actually make a difference in the world. To be a person that actually feels motivated and that actually does something that they find meaningful. To be a person that actually feels a sense of energy, inspiration, interest in what they do, that doesn't just do what everyone else does. We need to get out of autopilot. We need to get out of static and limiting ideas. And we need to stop limiting and stereotyping others. That's gotta be the goal for next generation psychology. At least that's my thoughts. Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it and if you want to be a part of this movement, feel free to join us on Patreon, to like, share, subscribe, comment, and to be a part of the discussion. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.